Hello and welcome to Who Does Rolls TV. We're in November already. Probably a good thing. I'm very tired and I'm going to run into why that is in a minute. So, what have we played?
What's Mike played? I really want to know what Mike's played. What you played, Mike? Oh, and you other guys too.
Friday, I probably got the last of my Friday game group bubble in, which was Railways of the World. Say that 3 times fast. I can't, apparently. Yeah, Railways of the World. I know, just can't even do it twice. It's an old Martin Wallace design, actually. It's an old Eagle Griffin game. I think it's Eagle Griffin. I'm going to say Eagle Griffin anyway. Eagle Games. It's a train game. We love a train game. So this one is kind of Railroad Tycoon as a board game. It's kind of hard to track down. I managed to get a hold of a copy off of Board Game Trading Chat just before the original lockdown. I got it at a reasonable price. A couple of components were knackered in it, but nothing that was going to stop you playing the game. And it's a game of you building train tracks and shipping cubes through, and as cities kind of get devoid of cubes, they shut down. Once a certain specific number of them is shut down, the game ends. So this was our first play of it. We haven't played it before. And I really quite enjoyed it. Initially, it was a struggle to get going, mainly because of people around the table, like Bob, who we play with, who's one of those gamers that most people would probably happily punch in the face. When you're explaining rules with Bob, you get this happens a lot, and you're halfway through an explanation of something, and then he interrupts and asks something that you're already explaining. It's a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you. He is a nightmare. I also think he may have Alzheimer's, because he forgets pretty much everything that's happened previously. Constant. It's a nightmare. Any normal gaming group would have probably hung him by now. But yes, so anyway, we played that. But it was, aside from Bob, it was actually a really enjoyable game. As a first run through, I could see that it would be a brutally cutthroat game if you were to come back to it and play it later. I was kind of allowed to run away with it because I had a nice spot where I had lots of cities I'd linked, and I was shipping goods all over the place and wrapping up loads of dosh. It's got some really clever little mechanisms. You can take bonds in your company that's anyway making money, but they're going to cost you back in the long run. As you score points, you get more money obviously coming in, but there was a certain point where you go really high in the score track, and actually it's a bit of a catch up, is that your income drops, which does allow people to catch up, and it was quite tight, mostly towards the end. But yeah, as a train game, I know some people don't like train games. I don't mind them, actually. I always loved Railroad Tycoon, the old Sibir game, which this is kind of what this was, but it got revamped and simplified in the Railways of the Road rail version. Why am I saying that so many times? But yeah, really good, really solid. Definitely one we want to get back to the table. Who knows when now? But yeah, a nice. I can definitely see it would be a real cutthroat as you build tracks between each season and start cutting people off, because that started happening in the sort of last quarter of the game. There's a lot more of that viciousness going on. Hard to get hold of. Definitely all the expansion packs, because it was one a bit like Ticket to Ride to a certain extent. You could buy more maps to play over different areas, and that was the whole idea. It was sort of modular. Fucking great big board you get with the base game, and there was a 10th anniversary, which again I think is silly money, and it's something I'd quite like to get the other boards for, but having looked a little while ago, they're not cheap. A lot of them are very hard to get out of print or whatever. I don't know, they're hard to track down. I'm very happy that I picked it up at a reasonable price when I did, and base game's quite playable and quite good, but yeah, I would kind of like to maybe dabble in that as we go down the road. Anyway, then last night, as lockdown is impending, lockdown is on the horizon, we decided that, we jettison Gloomhaven for an evening and we'd play TI4, which you can see some of the leftovers of that on the table now. 4 of us were playing. It's me, Robbie, Jamie, and Tony. I went in with a necrovirus, which is essentially the Borg, kind of they assimilate technology of people. Robbie was the Yazril tribes. I'm not sure what his perk is. Then we had the Lizix Mindet from Jamie, which is very war-based sort of thing. The Soul Empire Federation of Soul was Tony, which they always are a little bit OP. They can just drop hordes of troops down. I had a quite cool thing, is that my flagship allowed me, when it was in my fleet, allowed me to use ground troops as ships. And essentially what I did at the early part of the game is, as Tony upgraded his tech, is I essentially assimilated his troop tech, which allowed them to be much hardier and vicious, along with his carriers, which allowed me to carry tons of them. So I was essentially able to have this massive swarm of like Borglets to go in and blitz things. Unfortunately, I was a bit late in the game, kind of really getting that before I took Metacol Rick, because there was a big battle over that. There was all sorts of things. Laws were passed, reducing fleet sizes, and I know horrible shit happened. Yes, epic game. We eventually called the game at 1:45, I think it was, this morning, which I feel a bit tired now. Tony was kind of a runaway leader at that point. He was a point off of winning. And Tony was a point off winning. Jamie and Robbie were kind of within a couple of points of him. Could have caught up, but I think he would have got that point before any of us could have really got near. I was trailing miles behind. I'd kind of been caught because the map had been built, and because apparently I'm a threat at best of times, I essentially had anomalies stuck all over me, black holes and supernovas. So I didn't really have many areas of land to get to protect myself. But yes, TI4, if you've never played it, it is an epic game. It's a very long game. 4-player game. We haven't got a lot of 4-player games in under about 5 hours before now, but this one kind of trawled on a little bit. I was kind of enjoying myself leisurely because it might have been my last game for lockdown. But yeah, cracking game. I shall definitely, as it's all laid out, I might try and throw down like a cheap and simple review-ish of sorts. But yeah, cracking big game. Can't wait for the expansion, which is due at the end of the month. And that should change things. Hopefully, if we kind of stagger out of lockdown, right in time with the expansion comes out, that might tie up very nicely. So that's what we've been playing. Other than that, I've been playing some Carrion on Steam, which is essentially you playing as the Thing alien in a complex. It's kind of 8-bit graphic-y feel, sideways scrolly type stuff. And you slowly mutate your Thing-like creature, and tendrils fire out and you rip people to shreds and absorb them, and it's kind of a puzzle game. It's kind of fun. Late game, it tends to get this sprawling map where you tend to be staggering around going, oh, I don't, what am I doing? But the aesthetic and the sound, the music's brilliant. Good fun. It was cheap, and I think it is still cheap on Steam at the moment because they're doing a Halloween sale. So I think it's reasonably priced is what it was, and I've enjoyed that a lot, and maybe enjoying more of it by the looks of it as things are going. News, so lockdown's imminent, so we know that, so yeah, so that's going to cock everything up. However, let's go for some news. So sad news. UK Gaming Media Network, which is a British kind of Dice Tower, I want to say. It's not really. It was kind of this affiliate, it kind of linked all British blogs and YouTubers together. It was run by a guy called Chris. Chris, I worked with many years running at the UK Games Expo. We did bunches of videos together. We kind of had like a Dice Tower live type setup at the UK Games Expo for many years, where we'd bring designers and publishers to the desk, interview them. I got to interview a shit ton of designers. We did something like 70, 80 videos every show. It was exhausting, great fun. Chris was really great. He was my ever loyal cameraman, but he ran the UK Gaming Media Network really to share all of the UK bloggers that were going on, just to share it all there. As time has gone on, essentially it's costing money to run this thing, and he's not really had massive amount of support. It's kind of been taken a little bit for granted, which is a shame, and it's never really reached the heights of maybe what it was capable of. And I don't even know how many people know it existed. So he's pretty much shattering it because he can't afford the hosting anymore. It's going to cost him more money on hosting, and he's not getting any returns for doing it. So it's kind of getting shut and mothballed. It will be on a free website page, but essentially it's probably its death knell. So we salute UK Gaming Media Network for its support. I had a lot of fun working with them over the years. Chris and me hopefully might be at this forthcoming expo if it happens, and we'll do some videos there. So he's not out the loop, and I know he runs his other blog, Unboxed blog is the other one, his own personal blog he runs. So there we go. That's sad news. Toy Fair 2021 has been cancelled. I had an email from the other day. It usually takes place in January. It's been going for 66 years. It's the first time in 66 years it isn't going to be going. I know of it because of my links back in the day when I was with Nintendo and that we used to go to the toy fair. It's a smaller British event, but it's a good window into some of the stuff that's coming out in the year ahead. More toy based, not so much board game. There's been a few board game publishers there, and Asmodee are there, and a few others. I've met someone who published there a few times, and it takes place in Olympia in London. But yeah, so that's been cancelled. There's no way they know that that's going to be a chance of that happening in the new year. How that bows towards Expo, which is happening at the moment, I believe later next year. Obviously, I think it's still pushed. No, it's June. It's still the bank holiday, May-June weekend. It's so I don't know. I still think that potentially that is on a knife edge. How we do with that, we'll see how we do over the next few months. Hopefully that it will happen, but we don't know. But yes, Toy Fair 2021 has been cancelled. The last bit of news is Alien RPG is now on to Roll20. Good timing, really, as we're all probably going back home to sit indoors for a while. Alien RPGs, I've got the original, the main core book over there. I haven't finished reading it, but it's a gorgeous book. There's a starter set just come out, which really looks kind of cool. And it's a game that I want to run. Just time has not been allowed. Potentially this might be a route. Maybe I'm running it on Roll20 might be a thing. There's a reasonable price to get all the start sets and stuff on there, and some really nice graphics and stuff. Tempting, we shall see. I haven't run an RPG for years, but I think it's something I could do, and definitely with especially my Sunday group, I think they'd probably embrace it, and I get to murder them all, which is always fun. So there we go. That's that. Kickstarter. So not a lot grabbing, but there's a lot of stuff we've already covered, so I'm not going to really go over that. I am going to mention Horticulture again. Horticulture is it's slowed down. It's struggling. It's mid funding slump. It's about half funded. It's a really cool little Halloween-y themed follow-up to Ghost Hall. British publishers. It's a solid little game, and reasonably priced. It's got a lot of tactics in there. It's a lot of player interaction. Looks really cool. I need to get the review out, which I've been trying to get out for the last week or so. It's just been stuff going on. But yeah, it's a good game. So if you're looking for something cheap and cheerful, sort of Halloween theme for the kids and family to play, it's got enough gameplay in there that even for the hardened gamers, there's still a game there to play. What was that? It was a big thunderous noise, wasn't it? So that's out. Recommend that if you get a chance to show and throw some support to those lovely gents at Tinkerbot. Failing that, there is the expansions for Escape the Dark Sector have just gone on as Kickstarter, which is offering free small box expansions of various bits of new monsters and endings and other stuff. I reviewed Escape the Dark Sector probably a few weeks, maybe a month ago. It's fun, it's that throwback to those choose your own adventure fighting fantasy books, space-based thing. Dark Castle did very well. The aesthetic is black and white, this sort of kind of retro art. Well, I say retro art, I think some of the art was a bit rubbish in it. But yeah, the aesthetic works very well for it. And it's actually, I thought it was a much more solid game than the Escape the Dark Castle, which just seemed like a complete lugfest. It's got a lot more mitigation in this game. It's more of a game. And I did enjoy it. It's good fun. It's over there. Look, there it is there. Escape the Dark Sector. So yes, if you've not got the original, you can, I believe, pick that up during this Kickstarter. There's a bunch of other good stuff and a big box and all sorts of stuff. If you're into your Dark Sector Castle games, then I'm just going to get a laptop. It's already funded, so it's doing very well. So there's that. I'm very tired. I tell you what, playing till 2 a.m. is really stupid, especially when you've got a toddler that wakes you up and a puppy and things. I don't know when I went to sleep. Drunk too much Dr. Pepper as well. Struggling. So yes, not feeling that dynamic today. If there's other stuff, so my board game TV review releases roundup went out the other week. That's got the roundup of all the stuff from October. If you want to see that, that's on BGTV. Link to the board game trading and chat channel. If you want to see me murdering some new games and generally not being much use at all, but then it has its fans. What else is going on there? So with lockdown imminent, as apparently Thursday we are going to push to try and get a final game of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion in on this Tuesday. So me and the boys for Sunday are going to meet up on Tuesday and hopefully get through that. I think I'm very close to dinging to level 5, which is a bunch of closed off cards, so kind of fascinated to see how that rolls out. So hopefully I'll get that and I'll have feedback in the subsequent video about that. I have got a bunch of stuff that's all been in various levels of prep. I've got 2 weeks holiday as of yesterday, so I'm going to try and kind of get some content blasted out. Amongst that will be some reviews, horticulture, some of the backlog of stuff up there that I've managed to get played. I will try and get done. I've also had a top 50 list I made up that sat on my desk subsequently for weeks after doing that, so I might try and get that filmed. I might try and get a TI4 thing done. There's lots of stuff. And so hopefully now I can kind of get something done. Mandalorian's second season's come up on Disney Plus, which is great, but it's only showing one bloody episode a week, so I thought, oh good, I can binge that over my weeks off. No, I can only watch a couple of episodes, but I watched episode 1. If you've not seen it, I'm not going to spoil it, but it was kind of cool. I kind of liked Mandalorian. Let's say the first season I found it was itty bitty, kind of, it started strong, kind of, there was a lot, felt fillerish in the middle, and had quite a good ending. It's lots of fan service, and especially this new first episode, it's got a massive amount of fan service in there. What it is doing is such a better job of it, giving a Star Wars and a Star Wars feel than the recent sequels really ever did, especially the fucking awful Revenge of Skywalker, whatever the hell it's called. Rise of Skywalker. What a clusterfuck that was. I mean, I've got it. I've watched it again. It's just a mess. Don't let J.J. Abrams near any more fucking Star Wars. Don't let him near anything. Christ's sakes. How do you manage to cock that up? But yeah, I know there's some people loved it. I know it's very divisive. But yeah, good grief. Good grief is what I have to say on the matter. Anyway, so that happened. Mandalorian, though, I do recommend if you've not seen it, because it's just a bit of fun. Good stuff. This is the way. That is it, I think. I'm not going to ramble on anymore. Well, I will probably later on. But yeah, that brings us up to the end of this. I'll obviously be next week with another one of these. Hopefully there'll be some actual other content for me in the betwixt. There's a podcast episode me and Charlie recorded the other day that actually is ready pretty much to go. So I'll drop that in the next day or so. Yeah, all of that stuff. Cool. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in. I've been your host, Mike B. We'll definitely be back with another of these next week. Not probably much to talk about at that point in time, but we'll see. The silly season is beckoning. We're now in November. Normally, this is where the glut of releases coming out. Essen didn't really seem to have a lot. This year, as we know, is a weird one. There's a few things on the horizon, as I say. There's a new Downforce Wild Hunt finally has been put up. I saw it in GameSlot the other day, so I have pre-ordered that because I love a bit of Downforce. But other than that, I mean, there's a TI4 expansion. There's a bunch of stuff kind of tricking out, but none of it's kind of blowing my socks off. We'll see. Anyway, that's us. I'm rambling again. I need sleep and caffeine. Not necessarily good bedfellows. But there we go. Thank you for tuning in. I hope it might be. I'll see you again soon. Definitely next week, if not before. Have fun in the time being. Try and stay safe. Who knows? What a crazy time. Oh my God. And there's the US election. Oh my God. The US election coming up. Kick that fucking big orange floppy haired wank puffin off your country. Come on, America. Come on. Please. Come on. Let's sort this out. Get him off. Shoo him. Get him out. What the fuck's going on? And that's it. Cheers. Goodbye. I'm off. Goodbye.